the downtown area and the crime trends that we've been seeing and the positive impact that those targeted resources have had in the downtown area. Today you will be hearing from Mayor Keller, Chief Harold Medina, Deputy Chief Cecily Barker, Deputy Commander Richard Witten, and Chief of Staff and MRA Director Terry Bruner. With that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Mayor.
Well, thanks so much and good morning. We do this typically once or twice a year in terms of, in general, a little bit of an update with respect to crime downtown and safety downtown. And so we're going to touch on issues that have changed since the last time. We've really provided a lot of information about our hard work downtown. But I just want to also acknowledge, coincidentally, literally, it was also the Chief's run this morning. So we're joined, and I quickly changed clothes, but those are a new batch of cadets over there. And so we're very grateful to see a new batch of officers coming in to be reinforcements for our hardworking men and women at APD. Now, what we want to touch on today is a couple of specific issues and a couple of general issues. Number one is that last summer was when we had a big spike in youth crime downtown. And we really highlighted the situation where teenagers were coming to our parking garages and they were essentially partying. But when they would party, it involved drugs, alcohol, and unfortunately, firearms. And this is also why we had several shootings in parking lots last summer, and this was a focus of ours to fix going into this summer. So what we have done is a range of things. We have added lots of security cameras, specifically 14 cameras in our garages. So we are now watching in our garages. We also have added 122 community connect cameras. These are cameras in private businesses, for example, like this building or that building, that now our real-time crime center can see. So in total, we've added about 200 cameras when you add all that together downtown. And these cameras are part of course, a general $2 million of investment that we've made in lighting also downtown. So you will notice the alleys and especially different intersections and around parking lots are almost overlit. That is on purpose so people can't hide and essentially do bad things, especially when people are coming either home from work or they're coming home from eating and from hanging out downtown. Now, one example we're going to highlight is how the National Guard has also been helping. As you know, they've been very helpful working our camera system in our real-time crime center. And on July 3rd around midnight, they spotted 3 individuals with firearms and alcohol. They alerted APD, the suspects fled and then crashed into the sergeant's vehicle. And then we found them and we caught them and we arrested them. This is the combination of all of these efforts, layered enforcement, cameras, and a quick response from APD. Now we continue on the weekends. We have a new arrangement with respect to how we do cleanup and closing on the weekends. We modify that every couple of months. And now we have a new program where the cruisers go one way, so there's a whole traffic management program we can talk about as well. But it's sanctioned. It works with APD and it works with the businesses. Food trucks are the same way. We used to have most of our violence occurring around food trucks late at night, where people would get into different altercations when they're inebriated and waiting for their food. So now we have rearranged the way we place food trucks so that they're in safer areas and they're spread apart. So you can see this is a combination of things big and things small. And it's having an impact. And I think that's the most important thing, is the downtown shootings are down 20%. Now we have a long way to go, but we're going in the right direction in a big way. And it's because of the investment in technology, the partnership with the community, and also the hard work of our officers. Now, a couple of other things to touch on before we go into some detail from folks from APD. This summer, we've also invested a lot more in trying to keep our teens busy and active and doing other things. That's why we're having teen movie nights. If you've seen these at the parks, we had almost 1,000 teens at our last movie showing. And we're also doing our teen pool parties at the pools around the city. And so we have tripled the number of teen activities this summer, and it's part of the Summer of Nonviolence. And we believe it's also directly correlated to just less teens being down here and the potential for challenges around juvenile crime and even drag racing. Now, we also are working with the business community to make sure that we're supporting their efforts to thrive downtown. And we know it's a tough road, but when we think about what 8th and Central looks like and 7th and Central looks like now compared to what it did last year, it is night and day. If you want to see the future of Albuquerque's downtown, go to that intersection and you can see it today. You've got a thriving brewery with amazing food. You have an amazing hotel that also has a good restaurant. There may or may not be a speakeasy underneath the liquor store. You've got Curious Toast, and you have a great legendary concert venue, and you have a parking lot full of lowriders celebrating car culture safely. This is uniquely Albuquerque. It is safe, it's active, it's fun, and it is a reflection of our own culture. That is what we want to see all over downtown, and we have achieved that goal at this particular intersection between 7th and 8th and Central. And so that is not an accident. Most of those projects were heavily curated by our Metropolitan Redevelopment, and they're a reflection of focused use of our economic development incentives. And they're also part of us trying to help out downtown property owners. We've spent $500,000 literally just in grants to help them fix up their facades or help address security or window issues. So we're going to hear more on this, but I'm going to hand it back over to our MC to guide us through in more detail. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. This time we'll have Chief Medina speak.
29 years ago was the first time that I set foot as a patrol officer on Central Boulevard. Matter of fact, the person with me, Rich Cedillo, is the officer in the back there against the wall. We worked these streets 29 years ago, and back 29 years ago, we had the same struggles. We had to work and devote more resources downtown. What's the difference today? There's more cameras than ever before downtown. We now have National Guard watching those cameras downtown. We have ShotSpotter. We're getting ready to have drones. And we have devoted units that spend a lot of time downtown. During most of my career, many times it was just field services that was stuck with downtown, and they had to work through it. But we will have the tactical section here. We have horses that are being brought back into downtown in a different way than they were in the past. We have auto theft, who consistently is working downtown weekends. And we have our detective units that combat gun violence. So we'll continue to bring different resources downtown. We'll continue to get help into the downtown area. We know that last year we saw a spike in the amount of youth that were downtown with firearms. We're seeing a 20% reduction in firearm-related crimes downtown. And we're seeing reductions in a lot of other crime categories. It's because of the dedicated effort of the officers behind you, who each and every day come out here and they balance humanity, working with some of the unhoused population and ensuring that they're taking individuals who are criminals to jail. And I'm going to ask them to continue that fine balance of making sure that we do everything we can to help people in need, but at the same time enforce laws when we're required to enforce them to keep Albuquerque safe. So we will continue to make sure that our officers work hard. 26 guns this year have been recovered in the downtown area. We've made 24 arrests, the majority involving juveniles, and we want to make it clear that if you're involved in gun crime and you're involved in activities that are threatening the public safety, that you will be held accountable and officers are going to take you into custody. So once again, to the horses to the right, left of us, and the officers behind us, thank you for all you do each and every day to keep downtown safe. And we're going to turn it over to Deputy Chief Barker.
Good morning, everybody. As Chief said, my name is Cecily Barker. I'm the Deputy Chief of the Field Services Bureau, which includes downtown. And I just want to start by first thanking Deputy Commander Witten and Commander Jose Sanchez, who oversee downtown and the Valley Area Command. And then most specifically, thank our downtown teams. As Chief mentioned, they are the officers who are down here every day addressing anything to community concerns, to our swing and graveyard officers who are addressing the crime and making sure that our community is safe when they come downtown to enjoy their time. I'm going to take a minute to talk a little bit about the resources that we have and the technology that Mayor and Chief briefly talked about, and how we're using that to our advantage in the Field Services Bureau. So I know that we've talked about some cases, and Deputy Commander Witten will talk specifically about one recently that happened as well. But we do have the National Guard and the Real-Time Crime Center personnel who are watching cameras that are downtown. whether that's in the parking garages or on the streets, and they're able to, in real time, tell us what they're observing. We've seen individuals, to include juveniles with firearms, just showing it off to each other, using it unsafe, and in the parking lots causing disturbances. And they're able to relay that information immediately over to our officers who are on the ground, and they're able to guide them in safely to make those arrests. In addition to the cameras that we have downtown, both public and private, that are fed into the RTCC, we have the license plate readers. So there are times where we might have a vehicle flee from us, and if we're not able to locate it at that exact time, we are able to get a license plate and follow up on that case. So not only in that situation, but if a crime has been committed and someone leaves the area, we're able to use that resource. Chief briefly talked about drones. That's another resource that we use to make sure that our officers are safe. We have personnel who are able to get those drones up in the air and guide our officers in again, as I said. I'm again going to allow Deputy Commander Witten to talk about a recent case, and just want to remind everybody that we want you to be able to come downtown and enjoy your time. We want you to feel safe down here, but we are going to make sure that we enforce the laws when necessary to make sure that you all are safe and are able to enjoy your time. Real quick, I'll just thank again the horse-mounted unit and motors and the other teams that come to help our downtown teams, and I'll turn it over to Deputy Commander Witten. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Deputy Commander Richard Witten. I took over the downtown area about the turn of the new year, about January 1st. Since then, I've been very proud of the hard work the day shift officers behind you and the swing shift officers that come in a little bit later tonight have done. They've taken the strict enforcement policy really to heart. My day shift officers are out here every day on foot. They patrol by bike. They're out making contact with all the businesses. They have close relationships with a lot of business owners. They know many of the individuals downtown by name. They work hand in hand to create a layered approach to some of the unhoused population. They work with ACS, they worked with UNM Mobile Medicine to provide not just enforcement, but also resources, whether it's housing or if it's medication or whatever resources we can provide to kind of help alleviate some of the stress on the local businesses. And then my swing shift team, they have a little bit different mission. On weekends and at late nights, they handle the bars and the juveniles and the parking lots where a lot of the problems stem from. Kind of like an incident the mayor talked about, there was another incident at the parking structure right over here at 2nd and Gold, where RTC was actively monitoring some cameras. They called out over the radio that they saw juveniles with guns and drinking again in the parking lot. So they were able to relay that information to the officers in real time. Officers were able to respond to the parking ramp. They set up what we call spike strips at the exit in case the vehicles flee. They conducted traffic stop, and they did stop 2 vehicles. They arrested 4 subjects, and they wrote warrants for those vehicles because we had probable cause that there was firearms in there. When they served those warrants, they recovered 4 firearms. One was an AR rifle to pistol conversion, so that was huge getting that off the street. Additionally, the day shift officers, they work hand in hand, like I said, with the businesses just to create that layered approach to help combat some of the issues with the businesses. When I took over, I let my guys know we wanted to make downtown thriving for everyone to work, live, and to visit, and to continue that strict enforcement of whether it's a misdemeanor or felony level crime. We wanted to make it as uncomfortable as possible for people to commit crimes downtown, and knowing that if they are committing crimes, they will be identified and they will be prosecuted, because we want to create a safe environment for downtown. Thank you.
At this time, we will have MRA Director Terry Bruner.
Good morning. I'm Terry Bruner with the Metropolitan Redevelopment Agency. We know that a better downtown is a safer downtown. It's the establishment of safe practices and policing downtown that will make this better downtown. So just in the last year, Metropolitan Redevelopment has been involved with a program to spend $500,000 with 26 downtown businesses to mount 60 cameras on their exterior. And that gives the real-time crime center at APD eyes on the street, and we're able to look around pre and post activities to see what's happened and provide a little extra safety for those downtown businesses. Just over here on this business right here, you'll see 3 cameras, and we took this wonderful picture of all of you, and so you can see it's live and active, and we're able to look at what's going on in the street. But we really appreciate the business owners that have participated in our Community Connect program to get more eyes on the street and provide a safer downtown. Thank you.
I'll invite Chief Medina back up with some closing remarks.
Es muy importante que nosotros tenemos oficiales aquí. Es cierto que las personas de Albuquerque están seguros cuando están aquí comiendo, haciendo otras cosas en el día en la noche. You know, I think it's important that we also mention that, you know, downtown has been designated a gun-free zone in many areas. And when the new U.S. attorney took over a couple weeks ago, I voiced my frustration in the fact that we had very little prosecution on the cases earlier. They were going to reevaluate some of those cases, and we have a new commitment that we will be going forward with prosecution when it's applicable. Just remember, not every case we're going to be able to get that done, but if it is a career criminal who has a lengthy history, they should get prosecuted federally for bringing their firearms into the downtown area.
That concludes it for our speakers. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions right now. After questions, we will be inviting you all to come into the bus so that way you can kind of see what takes place in there. We want to show you some video of the incident that Deputy Commander Witten was speaking of, but at this time we'll take questions. None? Go ahead, Natasha.
Natasha with Keller and APD. I was curious, you guys mentioned all these cameras that are going up or that have gone up downtown on businesses and in public areas. Can you give me like a timeline on when those ones are up?
Those are all up. Yeah, so we have 60 new cameras that have all been installed and linked to the real-time crime center.
And when was that done?
In the last year. Yeah.
Peter?
Ask about drones a bit. So I think it was Channel 13 did a thing about the drone situation, but they didn't exactly nail down, or the city would not exactly nail down where the drones were launching from. A, is it safe to say that there's some kind of drone coverage up downtown? And B, do more drones, does that translate into less helicopter hovering around downtown?
As for drone coverage is citywide. We positioned our docks in areas that would be able to give us citywide abilities. So in terms of downtown, there are limited areas we have because there are no-fly zones downtown for our drones because of the hospitals and the helipads at those areas. But yes, in a lot of ways, drones can reduce the amount of helicopter noise that is occurring within certain parts of the city.
Any other questions?
Perfect.
One more,
Yeah,
actually.
of course.
So when it comes to cameras, I mean, we're talking a lot about seeing something in real time and then doing something about it in real time. But I assume there's also some hope that this establishes a deterrent effect. Are you noticing anything like that, or how are you thinking about that?
You know, it's a layered approach for us. And I'm going to give you an example of a couple of months ago, we had a shooting somewhere around 6th and Central. We got initial video of the vehicle, and we knew what the vehicle looked like. We were then able to identify the vehicle at a license plate reader at the next intersection. And then with the vehicle being identified, we were able to trace it back to their home. But number one, it helped us take that individual into custody and solve a crime. But number two, the evidence that video creates for the courts and us to be able to prosecute these cases is sometimes crucial, and it's just invaluable because they're no-brainers for the prosecutors to be able to prosecute. And above that, we do hope it's a deterrence. And for everybody out there in Albuquerque who's thinking of coming downtown, I want you to know that our ability to solve downtown crime is extremely high. Our ability to identify people and capture them on video doing something wrong and get this out to media to publicize it is highly likely. And if you're going to come to downtown, know that they're more than likely you're going to be on video, and we're going to have video of anything you do wrong.
Any other questions?
I have one more.
Uh-huh.
So there was mentioned that there's 14 garage cameras and 122 community connect cameras. So in the 60, is that the amount that's like this year? Like that's still like already there? Is that correct? Okay. Thanks.
All right, if there's no more questions, it's kind of tight in the bus, so I don't know if you all can get your tripods in there. You may want to just go on your shoulder, but we're going to go ahead and move in there so you guys can take a look. The only thing I'll ask is if you do not record the firearm storage, which is against the back wall when you walk in, but everything else is okay. Thank you.